Science in pajamas. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, so today we're going to discuss the differences between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Now, as you remember, hopefully, that cells are the basic unit of life. So they're the smallest thing that we consider living. Now, there are two classifications of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Alright, so we're going to talk about some of the differences between these two. Now, first off, prokaryotic are always single-celled. So they're unicellular organisms. That means that every single prokaryotic organism is made out of one cell. On the other hand, eukaryotic can be unicellular or multicellular. Alright. So there are eukaryotic organisms that are made up of many cells, and there are also eukaryotic organisms that are just a single cell. Now, let's start talking about the actual cell itself. In terms of the DNA of a prokaryotic cell is a lot smaller than a eukaryotic cell. We are eukaryotic organisms, by the way. So their DNA is a lot smaller, and because they're so much smaller, they tend to be circular, so they actually loop together. We have smaller, circular DNA. Now, eukaryotic cells, their DNA tends to be larger and it is more in a line, so it's more linear. The two ends don't connect. So we have larger, linear DNA. And again, what we're kind of talking about is the DNA of a prokaryotic organism. It's actually going to loop and the ends are going to fuse, as opposed to a eukaryotic organism where it's going to be longer and the ends don't fuse together to form a loop. Now let's talk about the organelles. There are no membrane-bound organelles in a prokaryotic organism. No membrane-bound organelles. So that means no nucleus, no endoplasmic reticulum, no Golgi, etc. There are no membrane-bound organelles. So essentially what we're saying is that they tend to be very simple. So they tend to be a lot simpler than eukaryotic cells. So I'm gonna write that a bit bigger. So they are simpler and smaller. All right. In eukaryotic cells, we have a lot of different organelles. We have many organelles, including the membrane-bound ones. Including membrane-bound organelles. Now remember, prokaryotic cell doesn't have any membrane-bound organelles. They don't have a nucleus. So that means that their DNA is sitting right smack dab in the cytoplasm, as opposed to eukaryotic cells, where the DNA is actually protected inside the nucleus. So in a eukaryotic cell, the DNA is tucked inside the nucleus. The only time it's not in the nucleus is during cell division, because we're trying to separate everything out and make two new cells. But here, the DNA is just swimming in the cytoplasm. So these tend to be more complex and larger. All right, well, now let's talk about some examples. We'll make it pretty simple for prokaryotic cells. Bacteria. All bacteria are prokaryotic cells. If it's not a bacteria, it's going to be eukaryotic. So that includes animals, plants, fungi, protists. So what we have here, all bacteria are prokaryotic cells. Animals, plants, fungi, protists, those are our eukaryotic cells. Now let's draw some examples. I don't want to take these down quite a bit yet. Now these aren't going to be to scale towards each other at all. So we're going to have our a cell membrane. So that's our cell membrane. We're going to have our DNA. We're going to have some ribosomes. Hi, Ripley. Hi. And let's see, we're going to have some vacuoles, vesicles. All right, just some random things there. Now, if you noticed, it's got a lot more to do here. So what I'm going to start doing is finding a color I haven't quite used yet. We'll just continue with this. So we have the nucleus, the rough ER, smooth ER. We're going to have a Golgi apparatus. We're going to have some mitochondria. Let's see, some peroxisomes, some lysosomes. I'm going to have some centrioles. We're going to have vacuoles. So you can definitely see the difference in complexity. There's a lot more going on here in terms of organelles than there is here. Now and these are just generic cells. We can also have a flagella coming off, but we can also have a flagella coming off of this guy. Or we can have cilia. But this guy could also have cilia too. So, long story short, simple, always single-celled bacteria. More complex, single-celled or multicellular, anything other than bacteria, animals, plants, protists, fungi, etc. All right, so I hope you guys found this useful and educational, and I hope it helped to kind of summarize the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic organisms or cells. All right, guys, take care, be awesome and amazing, and I will speak at you later. All right, stay safe and healthy.